Hey everyone, Dr. Josh Matson here. I'm going to talk about the most common, the best habits that you can put into your life to help a child to develop. So I'm going to give some context behind this. So I'm reading this book right now. It talks about the power of habits and how habits create an environment for success in the future. So an example he shares in there, which I thought was really interesting, was about the British cycling team where, and I'm going to mess up the numbers and stuff like that, but something along the lines of for like 50 or 60 years, they only had one medal at the Olympics or like the Tour de France. They weren't a great cycling team, and they really didn't do very good in that. But what happened is they got a new coach, and a new coach started looking at the things that are going to change by 1%, and he looked at for all these little things that are going to create a 1% improvement. Over and over and over again to make them a better cycling team. So he put alcohol in the tires to make them stick better. He changed the suits they were wearing to make them more aerodynamic. He painted the inside of their bus to see if there was any dust inside the bus that would mess up their gears and make them go slower. He tried using different massage gels to help them to their muscles to recover faster. He took all these 1% changes and made them new habits inside their organization so that over and over and over again they were creating the same habits that constantly made them a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And that you can do the same thing with a developing child as well. It's all about creating habits over time that create better function for that child so that over time they develop and get a little better, a little better, a little better, a little better. We have a lot of parents that come in and say, oh, is this one thing going to improve my child remarkably? And I always say, it's going to help them, but it's not going to be the biggest thing that's going to change their life. It's going to be a habit over time. It's going to be they do this, plus they add this, plus they add this, plus they add this to get them to their goal. So the best things that you can do for your children to help them develop over time. Number one is making sure they don't have primitive reflexes. Getting rid of those and making sure that develops appropriately is huge. Number two is removing things from their diet that kids are sensitive to. Most kids, almost all people and kids, have sensitivities to gluten to some extent or another one. Dairy, we know, is very hard to digest and creates all kinds of inflammatory issues and sugar in their diet. Creating a habit of, picking gluten-free foods, dairy-free foods, sugar-free foods versus a habit of giving them cereal every day is going to give them that 1 to 5% increase in performance. Making sure they're getting appropriate supplements, fish oils, probiotics, multivitamins, the thing that every kid should have. That's another 1 to 5% improvement. Getting them involved in physical activity consistently. That's another 5 to 10% improvement. That's a huge improvement by getting them active every single day. Working on their weaknesses. Let's say they have an eye tracking issue. Working on their eye weaknesses. That's another 5 to 10% improvement. Changing their diet. Getting them to bed on time. Making sure they're sleeping and getting enough sleep. If they're breathing through their mouth all day, make sure we retrain their patterns so they breathe through their nose. Those are, again, 5% improvements. Those are huge, over time, as those become new habits and become rituals for them or normal everyday life, that improves their life by 5%, by 5%, by 5%. And the next thing you know, you get 6 months down the road and your kids function at 60, 70% better because you took the time and changed their habits and made these just slight little changes that over time are going to have exponential improvements, just like the cycling team did. They made very small changes. And now that cycling team, cool thing is at Beijing they won like 60% of the medals because it made that big of a change for them, and now they're one of the best teams out there, but it's because they consistently made tiny improvements that change how they function over time. So just like a kid, which is kind of cool. But I want to share that with you guys. If you guys have any questions on that, any comments, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But have an awesome day and start making little changes over time, guys. See ya.